often that's the problem. We don't know how to get ourselves ready for bed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're trying to sleep as less as possible, so that's
Right.
how it goes for all of us. Yeah.
So tell us, what do you think we should do in order to get ready for sleep?
Well, it's very hard to do so nowadays, especially if you're having some issues with insomnia or sleep in general, because of all the stressors that we go through on the daily. And, people usually don't have the time to do anything. And then when they get to bed and they literally, hit the pillow, that's when all the thoughts come in. And that's when you actually have the time to start thinking about your day and other problems. And that's why usually people can't sleep, because their mind starts racing and they just get very anxious, and that's the biggest problem. The longer that starts happening, the longer your own hormones start to change, so you're not producing enough melatonin, which in turn doesn't make you fall asleep. Even though you're sleepy, even though you're yawning, it's very hard to fall asleep. For some people like me, I used to have a big problem of waking up in the middle of the night to, I don't know, go to the bathroom or take some water, and then I couldn't fall back asleep. So that was my big problem. And it was happening throughout my whole life, because for some reason, when I'm awake and I'm alert, my melatonin drops significantly and my adrenaline just jumps, and then it's impossible to fall back asleep. So I tried everything from acupuncture to taking melatonin to taking 5-HTP to, everything from lavender essential oils and everything, and nothing worked basically. So the only thing that really helped was purposely trying to calm my brain down, which sometimes is worse because you're trying to fall asleep so hard that you're stressing yourself out more by trying to fall asleep. So I know that meditation is a great tool and it helps a lot of people that I know of and a lot of my friends. CBD oil is what a lot of people use. For me personally, it didn't help at all. But like I said, everybody's different. Then, one of the most important things to do before bed is literally relax everything. So you can't go and jump around and then get into bed. And, like take away your computer and don't watch TV right before bed. But it's so hard to do that today because people unwind and relax by watching Netflix and other things, and then they fall asleep while they're watching them or immediately go to bed. So it's very hard to be away from any electronic right before you're going to sleep. But it's generally a problem for a lot of people if they are consumed by their phones or their laptops or their TVs. Then when they get into bed, they really can't fall asleep because the blue light is actually blocking their melatonin from being released. And that there are a million studies that talk about it. So one of the biggest things that I would say to someone who is having issues sleeping is to try to step away from electronics and see if it'll work, because for some people it doesn't change anything, but it might. So that's number one. Try not to eat anything heavy before bed, so at least a couple hours. Of course, don't drink coffee. But some people probably don't know that drinking cappuccino that they love that has caffeine in it at 8 p.m., which is their ritual of some sorts, can actually mess with their sleep. And although it might sound like normal to me and you, there are a lot of people who don't know that. So I think it's important to say that, even though we might think that it's redundant. Um, then also trying not to drink too much water or any type of liquid before bed, because it'll make you have to go to the bathroom immediately once you fall asleep and you'll wake up. Maybe take a warm bath or a warm shower, which will help you relax. So anything that actually you know will help you relax, whatever that is. Maybe some light stretching or rolling, like foam rolling. There are a lot of things that you can try if you're having issues falling asleep. But if you tried all of it and it still doesn't work, then there are other things like taking melatonin or 5-HTP or GABA, some supplements that can actually help you, and a valerian root or chamomile tea, So there are a lot of things that can, be the next step, but I don't recommend that as a first step for someone who is having issues with sleeping. So that's like level 2 after you tried everything and it still didn't work.
You know,
Yeah.
one of my trainers, one of the sessions we talked about this very topic. And so she talked about her experiences.
Mm-hmm.
She had actually a young baby like you. And so she and her boyfriend, 30 minutes before going to bed, would cut all the blue light out.
Mm-hmm.
TV, phones, everything. Just put it all away and have nothing to do. In fact, they put it all in the next room, not even the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second thing, she said that you start focusing on your breathing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a meditation where
Yeah.
when you start focusing on your breathing, you tend to not think of everything else which comes to your mind, which doesn't allow you to sleep
Yeah.
because mind is racing.
Yeah.
And, and to me, it happens once in a while. I'll get up to go to the bathroom, then I come back, and something would trigger my thinking, and then I'll just go on thinking about what it is
Yeah.
and forget all about sleeping.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a special technique when it comes to breathing for sleep, which is called 4-7-8.
Yeah,
And yeah, for me, it doesn't work. So, like I said, every person is different. And that's why, all of these techniques exist. And some people will do great with just one, some people will try a lot.
4-7-8 doesn't work for me either because then I have to think about
I'm
four.
counting. Exactly. For me, it's counting. I have to inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. And I'm literally counting and it's making me go crazy.
That's
So, yeah,
you
I mean, but
meditate.
for some people, they do literally 5 cycles and they're asleep. So, like I said, it's so different for everyone. But it all is very tied to anxiety and stress because those are the main 2 reasons why people can't sleep. Because the more you're stressed, the more adrenaline you have in your body. And the more adrenaline you have in your body, the less melatonin you're going to have in your body. So, if your stress hormones are high, there's no way your body will go into relax mode. Because as long as your stress levels are high, your body is fighting something or is prepared to fight something. So you're in flight or fight mode all the time. And unless you get into the rest and digest, there is no way that you're going to fall asleep. I mean, you can if you're so dead tired, like I am right now with, the baby and everything, that I literally just drop dead when I go to sleep. That's the only way. That's the only way. But it's not the best way, It's
Yeah,
not the best way because
you're so
that
tired.
sleep is
Yeah,
not as quality. Yeah, because your stress levels are still high. It's just you overrode them by being so tired that your body just literally crashed. And that's a different thing. When you crash from exhaustion, that's different. So basically, what I would say to people who are struggling with sleep is to try to do whatever they can to lower their stress. Maybe it's not possible for their day-to-day lives, but try to lower your stress right before going to bed. So for some people, it's removing all the electronics, like you said, and they put it in the other room. For some people, it's taking a bath. For some people, it's actually watching TV. I know a lot of people who fall asleep watching
yeah.
TV.
Brayden is like that. Susan was
Yeah.
saying that he falls asleep with his iPad.
Yeah, and it makes them fall asleep. So for those types of people, the blue light removal doesn't work. It
Yeah.
actually helps them.
So everybody is
So,
different.
yeah,
So we,
yeah.
I guess we need to just experiment till we find that secret formula that helps us sleep,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and it's very frustrating when you're trying to work on it because the more you work on it and the more you realize that it doesn't work and you need to try new things, the more you're getting frustrated. Like with meditation. Meditation isn't something you can achieve overnight, but we all know that meditation can help you relax and fall asleep. So imagine you have a person who never meditated and now they downloaded an app for meditation and they want to try and meditate before bed. and they're getting frustrated because they can't meditate, and then they can't fall asleep. So,
Right.
that's why I always say try the thing that you know relaxes you first. So if you know that watching TV relaxes you, try that first, and then remove that and try something else. So that's why I never suggest meditation as number one, because not a lot of people meditate on the regular,
So the big question you need to answer it: what relaxes you?
Yeah, exactly. So, what relaxes you? What makes your body just go limp? Whatever that is, whatever helps you relax, that's the first step towards getting better sleep.
So what's the natural way of producing melatonin, which helps you
Just
sleep?
relaxing. So, limiting your stress, because the more you limit your stress, the bigger your melatonin response will be, because we're all tied to the circadian rhythm. So, for us as human beings, when we wake up in the morning with the sun or with light, our stress levels go up. And
Oh,
then as the day goes on, melatonin starts getting produced and stress levels go down. That's how it should be. Unfortunately, due to today's lives, we have our stress levels going up, 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 and they're staying like that until we go to bed. They
uh,
never drop down because we're constantly alerted by something. We're constantly agitated. We're replying emails at 10 p.m. So it's not possible to relax. So
right.
it would be normal once the sun goes down for you to naturally start unwinding, however that is, having a nice dinner, taking it slow, not going and having, a bunch of things after your dinner. You're supposed to be in the relax mode and the digest mode. We don't do that. We go out, we party, we meet with friends, we go for a run, for a night run, stuff like that. I mean, that's life. We're socializing, but in the end of the day, we come home and it's 3 a.m. and we still didn't fall asleep. So, yeah, it's important to find, if that's a real problem in your life, it's really important to find that balance, where you will have all of those things and you will know that some days you won't be able to fall asleep at the right time, but also have the majority of the days when you will fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because if you get up in the morning at the same time and fall asleep at the same time, eventually your body will catch up. You just try not to go against it. That's basically what I mean. I'm talking about it, but I'm experiencing it too. So just try to not go against it. And also, it's important to try to really work with your circadian rhythm. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who work night shifts. So for them, everything is twisted. But for people who work regular 9 to 5 jobs, they should all be in bed by a normal time to get up in the morning and function. But people don't do that, because they don't have the time. They come home, they haven't seen their kids all day. Now they want to play with them. Then they want to spend time with their husband or wife. And then they're, having dinner, watching TV, spending some quality time. And it's 2 a.m.
So there are two elements here. Number one, be able to fall asleep. Number two, how long should you sleep? And
Yeah.
three, how was your sleep? Was
Yeah.
it deep or light or. So those are the three aspects of
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah. And when it comes to the length, it also depends from person to person. And I've done multiple articles on that. I've read so many studies, and there is literally no study today that will tell you that having 8 hours of sleep is optimal. It's not for everyone. It definitely isn't for everyone. And I'm one of those people. If I sleep 8 hours, I don't feel good. I'm super groggy. I'm super slow. I feel like I was hit by a truck. So for me, optimal sleep is around 6 hours. That's how I
Really?
function. Yeah. I mean, I usually sleep less.
Nap in the afternoon or something?
No, I don't nap. I don't nap at all because it literally kills me. If I go for a 20-minute nap, I wake up, I don't know where I am.
So you just work with 6 hours sleep.
Yeah. But that's how I've been my whole life. Where there are people like my husband who needs 8 or 9 hours to feel good, which is what majority of people will tell you. But then there are people like me who will try to sleep 8 hours and then I wake up and I don't know who I am. So it's not for everyone. Every person is different. And it depends on how quickly your body recovers. And I mean, your mind too. So when you go to sleep, that's when all the reparation in your body happens. And for some people, it happens faster. And you will notice that if you go to bed at the same time every night, when will you start waking up naturally without an alarm? So if you do that for, let's say, 2 weeks, you don't have your alarm on, and you will see in the beginning it will be different because your body will be calibrating. But then the second week you'll start to wake up around the same time. So let's say you start waking up at 5:58, 5:59, 6:03. You'll see that happening the next week. There are so many studies that have tested that. Um, and based on that, you will see your quality of sleep. Because if you wake up in the morning and you feel like you don't know where you are and you are so not rested, then the quality of your sleep was really bad, really bad. And it can depend on a lot of things. It can depend on your strain from the day before. So, how much you exerted yourself or didn't do anything, let's say, what you ate, because sometimes something you eat can literally trigger a lot of inflammation in your body, which can in turn make you unable to fall asleep or have quality sleep. How much time you spent in front of a computer, how much stress you had that day, did you have a fight with someone? It all depends. So having quality sleep every night is impossible to achieve. It'll be great, but it's impossible to achieve unless you're, living in Tibet and you're a monk and you're so centered with yourself that you don't even sleep and you're good. But basically, it's something that we need to all work on day by day by day. It's not something that you're going to master, and it's never going to change. It's going to change every day because every day is different. Even though the last year seemed like every day is the same, all the stressors that are happening to you on a daily basis, phone calls, meetings, emails, people that you have to talk to, that may or may not cause some sort of stress in your life, is going to change from day to day. So your sleep is going to change too, no matter how well you sleep or how terrible you sleep. So, yeah, it's something that we all need to work on, like all the time, all the time.
This is very meaningful and interesting because I always thought that everybody has to uh, try to get to 8 hours,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not true in your opinion.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. There are a lot of studies that prove that.
Okay.
It's definitely not because for some people, 8 hours is just too much, and you're just not
Some people,
using it all.
not enough.
Yeah, and for some people, it's not enough. Exactly. For some people, it's not enough.
So the things that I notice you focused on is how to get ready, how long you should sleep, and those are the two main elements.
Yep.
And bring the stress level down, and whatever relaxes you is what you need to do
Yeah.
because you have to achieve that goal.
Yeah, because sleep is natural for us. It's not something that we should fight.
Yeah.
And when we're young and when we're studying and when we're partying and, everything that happens when you're young, people are trying to sleep as less as possible because they want to make use of their day, of their night, of whatever. I know my sister, my whole life, she's been a terrible sleeper in terms of when she goes to sleep. She
Uh,
sleeps well, but she falls asleep around 4 a.m.
oh my God.
Yeah, because that's how she functions. That's
Wow.
how she functions. And for her life is like that. She can't fall asleep at 11. No.
That's the time I wake up. I wake up every day at 4 a.m.
Yeah, but that's some people do that. Some people wake up at 4 a.m. So it's how it's in the end of the day, your body will get adjusted to what you do to it.
Yeah.